Have you been thinking about buying a new home in the Austin market? Then you need to know that new construction is seeing massive delays, even worse than in 2021. Hey y'all, Angie Ufomata here, Realtor in the beautiful Austin area. Let's get into what is happening in the new home market. New homes are selling fast around the nation, and many buyers have seen this as a great alternative to buying a resale home. The biggest problem is the massive delays in completing the homes. Why is this? Well, I think that there are three major contributors to this delay problem. Number one, buyer demand. There are just not enough homes to meet the demand of the current buyers in the marketplace. Another reason why I think that we're having such low inventory is Austin is a thriving, booming, high-tech city. And so with that being said, there are really wonderful things that are happening there where our market is expanding, our economy is wonderful in the Austin area. It is going to continue to grow, but at the same time, that adds a lot of pressure on housing. So you've got folks from the Bay Area and from Seattle and from a multitude of other places relocating to the Austin area for those high-paying tech jobs with Oracle or Google or even our newest addition, which should be set to open this year in 2022, the Tesla factory, along with its cousin next door, SpaceX. So with all of that, that puts a strain again on the housing space, and therefore competition is increased because everybody's buying for the same properties, especially with the limited inventory. Another reason that I think buyer demand has added to the delays in new construction is, not only are people moving here for employment, but they are also moving here for the lifestyle. Austin is a place where you can really enjoy and take advantage of the great outdoors. We have, 300 plus days of sunshine in our city, and that is very attractive, especially if you are a cycler or you like to go fishing or boating. So I think that's one of the reasons that adds to that buyer demand, along with the lower cost of living. Now, I will say, I know my locals are going to get after me about this, but I will say this is a much lower cost of living than, let's say, California, San Francisco, or LA. So it's still very attractive to people who are in spaces where the cost of living is just outrageous. In addition to buyer demand, it's the work from home option. A lot more companies have been flexible due to our current nature of the market and of where we are in the US and around the world, that you can really pretty much work from anywhere. And so a lot of people have chosen specifically Austin for that reason, for the lifestyle and all the other things that I've listed. But it's a great thing to have that flexibility of being able to move to a desirable place that you've been wanting to move to for a long time. So that's the first one in terms of buyer demand and how I feel like that's affected new construction. The second reason to these massive delays is the supply chain issues that we're having. For example, this is not the first time I heard of this, but multiple clients of mine have had delays in paint. Yes, there was an actual paint shortage. The base of the paint, not the paint itself, but the base of the paint to start the paint was in shortage. So that caused delays. I have clients right now that are still waiting for windows on their home and that have been waiting for months to receive those windows. So there's a backup there. Lumber has been an issue. We gained more traction in that space, but that doesn't mean that we are back to where we used to be, where all of those supplies are distributed to everybody who needs them to complete homes. So that's still very much a reason as to why we're seeing so many delays. Some of my clients have had to just re-envision and reimagine and rework their plans when it comes to their new home. In a Forbes magazine article, Easy Knock predicts that we will continue to see new home construction not meet the continued demand as the United States deals with ongoing supply chain issues. This will lead to fewer new homes on the market, which means even with increasing interest rates, we may still continue to see record high sales prices. So that's one thing to be aware of. The senior vice president of the National Home Builders Association says that we expect slower growth rates for home building in 2022, but the level of single family housing starts will be about 25% higher than it was in 2019. He also mentions that construction costs are up 19% year over year. In 2022, some of these supply chain issues will ease from what he says, but the skilled labor workers will still be in shortage. He also mentions that construction costs are up 19% year over year. In 2022, some of these supply chain issues will ease, but the skilled labor shortage will grow worse, unfortunately. Speaking of labor shortages, this is my third contributing factor. There are a lack of truck drivers, and homes are taking 7 weeks longer, according to D.R. Horton, which is a national home builder. Because of the labor shortage, companies are having to pay more just to get the jobs completed. And the more they pay the workers, the more they charge the buyer to mitigate that cost, which knocks buyers out of the market. And then you roll into having an affordability issue. It's a domino effect, if you will. What can you do to make sure that this impact doesn't put you in a situation where you feel stuck? Well, number one, prepare your mind. Timelines will be longer. It just is a part of where we are in the market. And no matter what the sales rep tells you in terms of deadlines and dates, add and tack on an additional 4 weeks to whatever they say, because we just don't know, and they just don't know when the home will actually be completed. Prior to all of this, builders were really good about being on time, but some of these things are out of their hands. For example, the windows that I gave earlier that a client of mine is still waiting for. There's nothing that the builder can do outside of waiting for the supplier. Number two, have a plan. If you've sold a home or you've relocated here and now you're in a rental, just have a plan in place to where you know that you can go month to month, or you have a place to stay for an extended amount of time. Let's say an additional 7 weeks, like D.R. Horton mentioned the average time was across the nation. Plan for that now so that you don't have unrealistic expectations as to when your house will be finalized and completed. That will help you and save you a lot of heartache and stress later on. Have you experienced these construction delays? Let me know in the comments what it was like or what it is like for you. Hey, are you looking to make a move to the Austin area and you don't have a real estate professional? I'd love to be the one to help you with your move. If you're wanting to know more about Austin and the surrounding areas, check out my other videos. Found this video helpful? Then hit that like button. And if you're feeling my vibe, don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell so that you don't miss a thing. And I'll see y'all on the next one.